all I had wanted was some sleep. It started small as these things do. A sense of uneasiness as I climbed into bed, hoping to get a decent night's rest, despite the late hour I had turned in. A strange sound jolted me out of my tired state, only to be ignored as my mind playing tricks on me. I would shrug it off and quickly fall asleep, thinking my mind was blowing explainable sounds out of proportion. As time went on, the feeling would linger. From time to time, I awoke until I crawled into bed. I would feel as though something were watching me, waiting for a moment. When my guard was down, I resolved that I wouldn't give in, that perhaps I could chase it away from me and finally feel comfort in my own home. Researching on the internet provided many answers, though I wasn't sure what exactly I was dealing with. With limited resources, I bought some candles and some incense, hoping that if I believed hard enough, it would blow away with the smoke. I found a simple charm and kept it on me as often as I could, hoping it would drive the thing away. It seemed as though it had worked for quite a few months. I felt safe in my own home, in my own bed. No sounds I couldn't explain rationally were heard, not even at night. I was confident it had been gone for good. As per usual, I would still continue to go to bed later and later at night, though I had started taking medication to help me sleep better, as I'd started sleeping for longer periods of time, waking up groggier than I had been when I closed my eyes for that night. I had no explanation, hoping that I was just perhaps exhausted from too much sleep, though I'd often wonder why I would wake up with scratches on my body. My confidence I had assured myself that I had just bumped against something and hadn't registered I'd hurt myself, but I couldn't be entirely sure. In my arrogance, I shrugged it off, thinking I could never defeat this thing if I just ignored it and went on with my life as though nothing had ever happened. Despite my best efforts, this thing had other plans in mind. I would start seeing movements out of the corner of my eye, yet nothing would be out of place when I'd investigate. The noises started up again, louder, as if someone was walking through the small place I called home. My charm had gone missing, and searching the house, turning it upside down, I could find nothing. I still don't know where it had gone, but no one could have come in and taken it. The only time I took it off was to shower, and at those times I would always lock the door, and the shadows, they would appear as if I tried to drift off to sleep, lingering in the doorway of my room. I thought that I could outsmart them. I would stop taking the pills, flushing them down the toilet in hopes that it was just some weird side effect. I would sleep less often for shorter amounts of time than I had ever been able to. If I didn't sleep, the things couldn't get me. I rationalized this. And if I did, I would make sure to keep my television on, hoping the light and the noises would keep them at bay. Every time I awoke, I would find more and more scratches on myself that I could not explain. I was irritated, and often I would just snap at the most innocent of noises, daring them to come at me as if they thought they were big enough. They would respond in kind with things scattering about, static emerging from my computer as I tried to play music. The shadows would get closer, appearing while I was awake, at all hours of the day and at all times of the night. If I tried to go to sleep, something would plop on my bed beside me. Sometimes it would sit, Sometimes it would lay down with the force of a fully grown animal, making itself comfortable. My friends had laughed at me. I told them I was just imagining things from not sleeping like I should be. I tried to believe them, but more often than not, I found myself lingering at their homes, avoiding the horrid feeling of my own. It no longer felt safe, I told them. I tried to explain it to them, but they would rationalize everything. To say the least, it was frustrating. But at least they wouldn't be kind enough to let me stay the night if I really needed to. I'm at my wit's end. I don't know what these things want, but I have to read up on some stories that stay communicating with spirits ends up terribly. Yet I feel drawn to them, to talk to them, to ask what they want. I would do anything for a decent night's sleep in my own home.